Your sound. Imagine your favorite voices following you everywhere, from your smartphone to your car, your smart TV, even your virtual assistant. GC Radio Hub connects you to a universe of content. Check out our wonderful interviews on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio live music shows and podcasts, all at your fingertips. Android TV, Apple TV, Roku, Fire Stick TV. We're there wherever you are, because the only way to stay connected is to get connected. Download the GC Radio Hub app today and let your world come alive.
Hey everybody, how y'all doing out there? This is your favorite cousin Chief of GC Radio and also Square Brain Magazine. And today I am pleasured and pleased to have with us the one and only Scotty Robert Olsen, aka the Bulldog. Man, how are you doing today, Scotty?
Let me tell you, I'm doing absolutely fantastic. Really, really happy and excited and pleasured, and I'm blessed to be on the show. So it's been it's been so nice so far, and I just hopefully maybe some things come out about my career and things I went through, and hopefully things go good.
So for those who don't know, let me give just a little bit, just a touch, a little bit about who the one and only Scotty Olsen Roberts, aka Bulldog, is. This man came in as a flyweight at 5 feet 1.5 inches. He has a reach of 62 inches long. He's a little unorthodox with his style, but the man is very, very effective. In 40 fights, he has 34 wins, 25 knockouts, 4 losses, and 2 draws. This is somebody I will only fight if we playing we. I would only get in the ring with you if it's we fit. I am not showing up to no scheduled bouts. Not even charity, brother. You're not getting it. It's not happening. It's not happening.
You're my bro. You're my bro. I wouldn't fight you.
Scotty, tell me what got you interested? Where you from? First of all, where you from?
Well, I'm from Canada. That's my country, and it was called Edmonton. And I grew up in Edmonton, and not doing very well in sports. And then I was finally introduced to boxing by a guy named Al Ford, and he was able to guide me to a gym to go to. So once I got to the gym, it was just like walking into uh, a place of gold. It was just golden to me. That people on the heavy bags and speed bags and skipping and shadowboxing and sparring, and it just it took me over, and I was enthralled from that point.
So, what was it like the first time you got in the ring? Share that with us.
First time I got in the ring, that's a good one. I have in 40 years
Uh-huh.
of me saying stuff, I've never answered that question. So that's a good question. The first time I went in the ring, I was pretty nervous because I had to fight. I had to spar with some big son of a gun, and he was big, and he hit me, I think, 15-1. Maybe I landed a shot, but the shot I threw probably missed too. So he was landing all these shots on me, and after the sparring was done, I went to the bathroom and I cried my eyes out. I couldn't believe that I was, beat up so badly, and like, it just didn't think like it was the thing that would be right for me.
So you had second thoughts after that first time getting in the ring. What changed your mind and made you pursue it?
But
Boxing
second
still.
thoughts, second thoughts coming out of that bathroom, and I figure, I'm going to have another day tomorrow. So tomorrow came, and I stepped up to the plate, and I boxed a little bit differently than I had the day before, a little bit more aggressively, and my aggressiveness seemed to pay off because I was wowed. Like the people couldn't people that were watching my coach, they couldn't believe I had done the things I had done on a natural level, which normal sports stuff I didn't do well on any natural level with other sports.
Right.
Mm.
So, so how long did it take you for your first amateur fight from just sparring with people and getting the foundations down? You know.
Seems like it was a couple months. I think it was 2 months, and I trained hard, and I had a couple different coaches. I had a couple different coaches that helped me really well, and then I had Paul Horty, who was the main coach of the gym, who would always have his back to me, and he turned around and he said, "Son, I'm going to be your coach." So from when he took me over, it was a very short period of time to where when I ended up fighting, and I fought a bigger, more experienced guy. Not big experience, but he had some fights. But he was bigger and he had experience, and so I fought him, and I ended up knocking him out big time. So that was a nice remembrance of that. Yeah.
So you went from getting knocked around and having a second thought of entering the sports your first time hopping the ring
Mhm.
to more promising, challenging results the second time. In the first match, you actually got to give out of a bowl of skibbity pops.
That is so right, sir. That is so right. I was pretty excited. In sparring, I was getting beat up, and I was not getting any I wasn't getting to the target properly because I didn't know how to get to that. And I threw hard punches, but they missed by a long shot, so my accuracy came involved a little bit. And so I kind of tied that together, and once the bell rang, well, no, once my name was announced, that was a big thing. Once my name was announced, and then there was somebody offset me to undo what I want to do, then I was all for it. I went for it and stiffed them.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, how many years? How long did you become an amateur fighter before returning to professional?
Well, it's kind of. It must be about 8 years, 8 years that I was an amateur fighter. Must have been some from 90, and then in 98, I ended up getting onto the Olympic Canadian team. Uh, so those were pretty much my last amateur fights with the Olympics.
So, what was it like being on the Olympic team? Was it like a dream come true? Was you shocked? Is something you worked toward, or did they say, "Hey, we want you in the Olympics"? How did that work out?
Holy cow! That's like all you said. Just if you repeat yourself, that's what it was. That's what it was. It was a blessing, and I felt happy to be there, and I felt uh, that I had gone through things, adversity a little bit to get to the point where I was at. So I kind of harnessed the adversity to get there, and the fact that I always wanted to bring something home to my home country in terms of a medal, or at least do something of relevance. So yeah, there were a handful of things that really ended to came into play. There were I don't know. There were just there were times that I didn't think I was qualified to be at that level, but I beat in some amateur international stuff. I beat some a couple tough, really high rated guys. So there was a shot for me to get to the very top, and it didn't work out in that way for me. But I surely tried.
So how did you do in the Olympics?
Olympics was good. I won one fight. Fought a guy from Papua New Guinea. He wasn't a very good fighter, but he's left-handed, and I clicked him with a right hand and knocked him out cold. And then I went into my second fight and fought a more known fighter named Wayne Pocket Rocket McCullough. So I fought him in the second fight and I beat him. And then I was with my nemesis, the one that had beaten me a couple times before, though I had beaten him too, was Michael Carbajal from the United States. So that was a big fight. I needed to win the Carbajal fight to at least have a shot at a. It would have at least given me a bronze medal if I had won that fight, but I lost.
Man, this is interesting, man. You showing a lot of adversity and showing a lot of determination and skill and patience. 8 years of amateur boxer. How old were you when you first started?
I started boxing at 14, and I was just one of those kids, and I was so defeated. I felt so defeated. I tried baseball, I tried swimming, I tried judo, I did a little bit of hockey, none of which I could do in any capacity. I wasn't even average. I was so below that. And then I met a fighter named Alan Ford, and he told me to go to a boxing gym, and my mom wouldn't let me. So I had to. I ended up skipping school, hitting a heavy bag that I had was put up downstairs for me. I hit a heavy bag downstairs. I would do that, skip school, hit the heavy bag, and then my mom finally said, "Listen, Scotty, if you want to maybe excel as a boxer, I'll give you a chance, but you have to stay in school." So I barely finished school, and my mom let me go to the gym, and you know, that was huge history to me, huge.
Wow, man, interesting, interesting. I guess mom had to push education out there because she realized that boxing would take you so far, but education would take you everywhere. Um, Seeing your tribulation and trials and growth in boxing, um, when you became a professional fighter, was your professional fight your first professional fight harder than any of your amateur fights, or were you just ready for the transition? It was smooth sailing.
Well, it was a really hard fight because I was on. They wanted to put me on ESPN as one of the fighters on the ESPN show, so I was considered uh, just one of those fighters a swing fighter, I guess you call it. It's a swing match, and maybe you get in, maybe you don't, depending on how long that fight turns out. And I had warmed up or was warmed up for about 2 hours because I didn't know when I might go in. I warmed up for about 2 hours, and then finally I said, "Scotty, you're on." And I put on these gloves. The gloves had been worn by at least two other fighters. on the card, so they were wet and they were heavy, and you couldn't really get a grip in the darn things. It was so bad. So so I went into that first fight. I had uh, a huge advantage because I had Richie Sandoval, who was my trainer, and I didn't have any other secondary guy, but I had a cut man in Chuck, and Chuck is just legendary. He's been with all the greats, and he was my cut man for my first fight, and I had to use him a little bit. So that was really, quite a nice time having a pro fight, and then being having had it on ESPN and having it in the States because I was training out of Las Vegas at the time. And it was such a, and I had fought in Indianapolis uh, in the 1987 Pan American Games. So I knew a little bit about Indianapolis, so I was really proud to make my pro debut there.
Wow. So let me ask you, Scotty, do you have
Yeah,
any kids, and how do you feel about your kids boxing if you do have any kids? For them to get in the
that's
sport.
a nice thing. Nice thing. I have two kids. I have two daughters, and I had wanted to get them into boxing, uh, but I've gone through. At that time, I was going through some struggles with a little bit of addiction. I've had, some drinking problems and this and that, and had I not been, had I been able to be the proper dad to show them in the right direction, uh, I think they would have been compelled to boxing in a lot of ways. But I just wasn't in the right place at the right time. So they became more musically inclined, which is better on your head. So I thought that was a nice thing.
We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll come back with more. Olsen. You guys stay tuned. We'll be right back after.
GC Radio is giving away to some of its lucky listeners Beats by Dre earbuds. That's right, Beats by Dre earbuds. It's no cost to its listeners to register. Just go to gcradiohub.com and enter the free raffle. So don't hesitate. Go to gcradiohub.com, click on the earbud, register, and cross your fingers, because you could be one of the lucky listeners. These earbuds are priced at $169, and you can win a pair for free. That's right, free of charge to you. Just enter the raffle at gcradiohub.com and stay tuned to our live broadcast, The Cousin Chief Show, Afro Beats with King Glow, Uncut After Dark with Freaky and Friends, The Mississippi King on the Southern Soul Superstar Station. Stay tuned to any of those live shows and listen out for your name being called. At GC Radio, you have to get connected to stay connected. At gcradiohub.com.
This is LB, and you can catch me with some smooth jazz on Thursday nights, Pacific time at 5 p.m. to 7, only on gcradiohub.com.
And we back. This is Cousin Chief of Square Magazine. I got more Scotty the Bulldog Olsen in the building. Hey, thank you for hanging in there, Scotty. We had to pay some bills and play a couple quick commercials.
That is all right by me. I understand completely, and I'm just blessed to be on the show. I got my leopard friend on today, so I figured I'd do that because I'm very fashionable, I guess sometimes, and I'm just a little guy. I'm only 5 feet tall, but I wear some bling now and again, so that's just the way it is.
I was wondering who the stylist was. I was going to ask for the number, man, because I'm about to sprig it up no more, getting on TV. I'm like to give me a stylist, man. You looking very fashionable there.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So, Scotty, what advice would you give for up and coming fighters? Somebody's interested in boxing or getting into sports. What advice would you give them?
I think one of the main things that didn't work out very right for me, and I would put the most attention on, was loyalty. I think uh, your loyalty, just even if you go into some fitness classes, be loyal to the person that is teaching you that kind of stuff. But once you get up into being a fighter and an amateur boxer, and then you go on to a professional stuff, you want to make sure that you are, well, it would be, you just want to make sure that you're real to the people that you're close to, and not uh, think that things are greener on the other side, because that just doesn't happen. Things might seem greener, but they're not. They're with what you, so you don't shoot the horse you ride it on. And that would be my biggest my biggest thing, because I've seen amateur coaches and they lose their kids, and all of a sudden they're pro and they win big and they forget about their amateur coaches. No, you want to be remembered and be a part of things as much as you can. So I think it's very important just to have, a little of respect, and uh respect, and it becomes commodity, I guess it's called. Where your trainer becomes a comrade to you, and a nice person. You want to spend that time with them. You spend that time. He puts in that time, and you want to be able to feel as though he did a good job. And if he did, say it, pronounce it. Profound. No, it's not. No, it's not. Maybe that's the right thing. But if somebody did something right for you in anything you've done, and you don't spend a couple minutes to acknowledge that, then you're doing something wrong. And much is the same in the boxing industry.
Very passionate and great words of advice about the sport and the industry. So let me ask you $1 million question.
Okay,
How has boxing impacted?
okay, I kind of lost you there. But how has it impacted what?
How have boxing impact and changed your life or sculpted your life?
Oh, sculpted my life. How has boxing sculpted my life? Well, I have a hard time after 25 years that I haven't fought. I'm having a really hard time with with not having uh, the that kind of celebrity status that I used to have. So that is one of the things that's hard. So, but uh, going through it, I'm just trying to think of what I could say. That's a really tough question. I feel that I have I have had some great moments in boxing. I always am forward with the people that helped me, so they always get their acknowledgement. Uh, so I just think that has been so important with my life, and uh, I don't know if that answered your question, but it was something that I did want to say.
So if it wasn't for boxing, could you imagine yourself doing anything else?
I did a thing on with school. That thing was school. It was called it was called aptitudes and some other tudes. I can't remember what they were, but there's like aptitudes and aptitudes, and what you would be best to do. So I did this big ass scenario of things, and and I answered all the questions, and they said that I should be an exterminator of bugs. That's what it all came to that. And I'm thinking, no, I'm going to take fighting a try, and we'll see how that goes. If it doesn't go, it doesn't go. But I'm going to put all my heart into it, and do that. And I had so many naysayers. I had family naysayers that didn't want me to get hurt because they heard fighters get brain damage. And I had enough brain damage. I don't answer all my questions properly. I answer a little bit slowly, and I can accept that. But I'd rather accept that than uh, have a career in something that had to do with the book industry. I'm
Well,
sorry.
Scotty, I beg you different. I think they were right. You exterminated the people in the ring. What a 34-4-2. Hell, man, you exterminated a whole lot of stuff. They entered the ring. They just didn't tell you what you was gonna do. To exterminating that.
I I love it. Yeah, I like that because I'll put that in my next thoughts because I did exterminate a handful of people. That's for damn sure.
And that's just the
A lot of good fighters like the
and that's just the
at my
and that's
weight. Yeah.
and that's just a professional. We're not going to talk about the extermination you did as an amateur. That's just a professional record. So they might have been right about something. They might have the wrong location, but the right occupation.
Uh, I love it. I love it. I
Scott,
love it.
so do me
Yeah.
a favor, Scott. Where can people reach you on social media that want to tap
Well,
in and something like that? They can catch you.
I'm on Instagram at Scotty Olsen 12.
Oh,
Just
one,
Scotty
two.
Olsen 12. So that's on Instagram, Facebook. If you put in Scotty Olsen, I'm the one that has a blue blazer on, and a bit of a goat. What do you call it? A thing hanging down. What do you call it? A braid hanging
Uh-huh.
down. Yeah. So that's so on Facebook. If you want to go on me, that's how. If you see me with a blue suit and a long beard, that's the best way to reach me. And if anybody wants to, because I can always block. I can always do different things. But if anybody wants to give me a shout or has a memory or something of me that wants to share it, I'm at Bulldog 19681 at iCloud.com. And then I will be at 780-919-2279. And you can reach me at any of those, and maybe have some questions asked, or you just wanted to be in touch, or things like that. That would mean a lot to me because I have time on my hands. I'm mentally, I didn't do very well. I had a, a cardiac arrest in 2000. Oh, fuck. It was a long time ago anyway. So I had a cardiac arrest 11 years ago. I didn't have the proper oxygen, and I can't relate really well with people. Uh, some days are a little bit better, and most days I have a hard time being able to say my stuff. Mostly I forget what I'm saying. But today has been a really nice day, and I'm really blessed. And if you want to contact me on any of those platforms, I'd be very happy to say hi and that kind of thing.
Well, I'm gonna reach out to you, Scotty, and I'm gonna put you on notice right now in front of all the people's listening. You're a gentleman, a scholar, and a true champion, and I would love to have you on Clubhouse with us on Square Magazine and some of our forums and talk show as a panelist. I really appreciate your knowledge, your dedication, spirit, brother, volumes, and I appreciate you, man.
I appreciate you. You go to church, don't you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Are you Baptist or what? If you don't mind saying, I'm Baptist. I don't know.
I grew up in the Catholic Church and the Baptist
Okay.
Church. Unfortunately, my parents
Oh,
separated at a young age. So when I was mom, I was Catholic. When I was dad, I was Baptist. And now I think I'm non-denominational. I just believe there's a creator.
okay. Okay.
And I believe in divine power. And I believe that each day we need to be a better version of ourselves than the day before. Nobody's perfect, but we always have room to.
That is so deep. That is so deep. I'm going to be. I look forward to being your friend and being able to be in contact with you. So thank you so much for sharing some private stuff, and because that normally doesn't go on to videos and podcasts and different things like that. But I asked you, and you were very upfront with me, and I appreciate that. And I just came from a life of being uh not sure what God was, and then I ended up going to a church, and I was the only white person in the church. And there was a lot of neat things done, a lot of singing, and there was some great things that I got out of my pastor at that time. And I was baptized Baptist at that point.
Well, Scotty, you know, see, we all have our own journey, and
Mm,
no one has a roadmap to it. We kind of like figure it out as we go, and as we
mm.
go, we make predictions on which path to take as we move ahead. And one of the things that I notice is that we try to keep our best foot forward at all times, and that everybody has a little evil and a little good inside of them. We all do. We're human.
Isn't
But the
that true?
one, but the one that shows up is the one we feed.
Hmm.
Feed the negative person, negative things. You feed positive, you're positive to you because you extend that blessings to other people and they come back.
Wow. Well, that's
We
very well said. Very well said. Yeah.
So the people we are is based on what we feed. You feed the negativity, that's what you get. You feed the positivity, that's what you get. And it doesn't always seem that way, but you look at how you come back for things and how rough things. And people say, like I heard somebody tell me one time, they said, they felt abandoned. They felt like they was in the ocean by themselves. And I told them that was a positive thing. They asked me why. I said, probably because your enemies can swim. Time to
Oh,
reflect and be alone, be left alone so that you can feel your calling and move the way you need to move without the distractions. So what you looked at as a curse was actually a blessing, and it builds your character and your strength as a person.
wow. Wow. Isn't that is super cool. And the a reflection that I had was that my pastor said to me in front of the whole people that were there. He said, Scotty, your arms are too short to box with God. That's what he said to me. And I put things into perspective. So I was never in any bumping heads with God after that. You know. Yeah.
Well, Scotty,
It's-
one day I went to Bible study,
yeah.
and the lady said something that made me smile but made me think.
Okay.
And she said that the problem with people today is
Mm.
that we rather offer people the crack of our behind than and our divine power, God, Jehovah, whatever it is,
Yeah.
want us to be more like Him and speak of good things and not show off negative, bad things. We're quick to show our rear end and not to offer people the fruit of our lips. I'm like, what you mean the fruit of our lips? She's like, take your words before you spit them out. Speak of things of joy and positivity. Don't feed the negativity within you because that's all within us. You know, there's a divine power, and whichever one you feed is one wins. There's a negative force and a positive force. The devil is real and God is real. Whichever one you gravitate to would take your actions, your accountabilities, and things that you do go over or collapse on you in life.
Wow.
That kind of sat with me, man.
Oh,
That kind
oh,
of sat with me.
goodness, would that not? That is those are such great words, and I've the things that happen in life, and some things come and some things are good and bad, but there are times when you get blessed, and meeting you was a blessing for me, and we're going to have a lifelong relationship as a result of it. So I thank God for that.
I think I'm just as honored too, Scotty. You're a wonderful guy, great dresser. You're gonna have to give me your stylist number, bro. They're gonna have to make about 3 of those coats
I
for
just
me,
I
man.
don't
I
know your
got, I
first
got, I
name
got,
though.
I. It's cousin Chief. Chief is my name. My government name is Robert Rosenthal, but
Chief.
my radio name,
Okay,
yes,
so
like an Indian,
cousin Chief.
right? And my
Chief.
mom gave me that nickname, so I stuck with it in the industry because it's a tribute to my mom. She's no longer here. She named me Chief, so I give it a tribute.
That is so cool. You want to have remembrance with your family and your mom. I can understand from the person you are, from what you've said, how
Oh, we lost Scotty. No, we got to bring him back. Bring him back. We'll take a quick commercial break and see if we can get Scotty back. Y'all stay tuned. Just hold on, hold on. We'll see if we can get Scotty right back. We'll take this quick commercial.
This is LP, and you can catch me on GC Radio Smooth Jazz and GC Radio R&B on the Chill Factor, Fridays at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, only on GCRadioHub.com.
Hi, I'm Movie Star. When I want to listen to some soothing soul music, I tune in to Southern Soul Superstars, also known as Triple X, only at GCRadioHub.com. Get connected and stay connected.
You're listening to GC Radio at GCRadioHub.com. Get connected so you stay connected.
And we're back. Unfortunately, I guess the internet's not our friend. We lost Scotty. He hasn't even come back. But I want y'all to always check in with GC Radio and also Square Room Magazine. We got a lot coming up for you. This your cousin Chief, Square Room Magazine. And I got to say my favorite phrase at the end of the day. I hope we leave you better and receive you with a smile on your face and grace in anywhere you go. You can always get a hold of Square Magazine. Go to SRM. That's right, SRMMAG.com, and check out the issues of Square Magazine. Ever want to just catch one or two issues, you can also go to iHeartRadio and go to GC Radio and catch these interviews, the audio of these interviews. But at this point, I'd like to thank y'all for coming out. Please go to Square Magazine, check out the issue and download it. Tell a friend. Bear in mind, we're going to go out with the intro, and y'all have a blessed day.
In a world of endless noise, one sound cuts through. GC Radio Hub. Your world, your sound. Imagine your favorite voices following you everywhere. From your smartphone to your car, your smart TV, even your virtual assistant. GC Radio Hub connects you to a universe of content. Check out our wonderful interviews on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio, live music shows and podcasts. All at your fingertips. Android TV, Apple TV, Roku, Fire Stick TV. We're there wherever you are, because the only way to stay connected is to get connected. Download the GC Radio Hub app today and let your world come alive.